Shoot, I didn't realize that the stream was on. Are you on here right now, Jacob?
Yes, sir. I was just getting my final preparations made and getting settled here to...
Audio gets super quiet.
Do you need me to dial up your volume? Alrighty, folks. We are getting settled in here tonight for the Afterburner 200, the second rendition of the show. Did it last year, and man, what a spectacular finish we had with a star-studded field of short track racers. Tonight is no different. We've got some stars highlighting actual track experience at real-life Langley Speedway here tonight, within the likes of Avery Farrell, Aid Millette, and I believe a couple others on there that have definitely turned some laps here at Langley Speedway. Of course, in the booth with me here tonight, I do have Langley's own Atlee Weiss. He'll be in and out of the booth here tonight for the action with me. So we're in practice right now, getting things kind of broke in. We got 10 drivers signed up for the event here tonight. 10 on a short track like Langley. It is not going to disappoint. We're going to be bumper to bumper, side by side, racing all night long here around the short track of Langley. So far, fastest in practice, we've got Wesley Newell, the number 11 there. He has a fast lap of a 15.98. And second to that, Wyatt Howell, 16 flat. Corey Bigley, 16.05. Aid Millette, a 16.12. And a James Wright, the number 50, also 16.12. So
yeah, the field is extremely tight right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was getting my audio issues figured out, but no, glad to be on here now, finally.
And if anything, folks, let us know too if it doesn't sound right or you can't hear us. Please speak up. I'll adjust accordingly. It's actually, I think, the first time I've called a race with someone else in the booth with me this way, this manner. So yeah, it's a little bit of a trial by error right now. So
I know you were going over, who were some of the fast drivers. I mean, we only have a 10-car field, but it's a small but mighty field. I mean, just looking at even the top 8 is all just super close to each other, but it's going to be all about that long run. Doesn't matter how quick you can turn 1 lap or 2 laps. If you can't be strong over the course of the race, then you're going to be in trouble.
Something I remember from running the race last year, I was in the field with these guys, and yeah, it's kind of daunting. 200 laps at a short track doesn't sound like a whole lot, but once you get into the rhythm of it, you feel it. It definitely is a lot more than you would kind of bargain for, and you'd start to feel that kind of that drain as the laps, if it's a long green flag run versus a short green flag run. So there's no gimmicks, there's no stages. It's going to be whether or not we get any cautions to kind of slow down the racing action here tonight.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing that a lot of people were asking me last year. They're like, is there going to be a competition caution? I'm like, no, either you've got to hit the cautions right, a caution has to fall into your favor, or we may see some green flag pit stops. So we're prepared for either. Last year, there were some cautions that did fall in favor of drivers to come in and make green pit stops under yellow. This time, we will see. We've got a smaller field, so less chance for wrecks, but at the same time, it's going to be a competitive field. Time will tell.
So as you see, a couple sponsors here tonight for the show. We're obviously doing the charitable donations here tonight for Breakthrough T1D, formerly JDRF. So research for childhood type 1 diabetes and how to try and stomp that out. So all the drivers tonight had to pay a $20 entry fee, and it's kind of like a 50-50 you could think of, as half of it's going to go towards the donation at the end of the night here, and the other half is going to go towards, the drivers will still get a payday at the end of the day. But it wouldn't be against, if they wanted to, they could donate that $50 if they so desire towards the charity as well. I know there's, some acts that would do, some drivers that would do such an act, but I'm not trying to set the stage for that. It's definitely an option for sure.
Yeah, if anybody does want to donate more to Breakthrough T1D, we've got a PayPal, a Venmo, and a Cash App that you can send donations to in the description, and all of it will get sent to them. But it's really excited to partner with the leading global type 1 diabetes research and advocacy organization, because I was called to this charity by a friend and classmate who has dealt with T1D throughout her childhood. So I hope that this race can do its part to help individuals like her battle in their battle against T1D. It's definitely a very hard disease to manage, constantly having to take insulin and monitor that. So, whatever we can do to help with this race, donate some money and get people thinking about type 1 diabetes more. I hope, this will provide a great benefit for that.
And of course, it's all for the fun of the racing. The drivers out here might be a little bit more amped up to try and fight for the first place. There might be a little bit more, bragging rights too, to say that you won the Afterburner 200. Now that we've had it 1 year in the books and a second year on the way here, we could maybe start putting together a T-shirt of all the race winners that have won this race. So,
yeah, I know last year's was won by Ethan Johnson, so whoever wins this year will be a first-time winner.
And I know a lot of folks out there dealing with that harsh winter weather right now, so hopefully all are staying warm and safe out there. I unfortunately cannot, I wish I could relate. I don't have much cold weather in Washington right now, which is actually beyond bizarre. So
wow.
I feel for y'all, and I hope y'all are staying safe out there. And I wish I could give you a little bit of the, I wouldn't say warmer weather, but definitely not as icy weather. I would share it. I could.
Yeah, we'll take 40s, we'll take 50s. It doesn't matter. Just not these highs in the 20s. It's terrible.
I just thought it was crazy, you know, the race at North Wilkes, or not North Wilkesboro, they're racing at Bowman Gray, that it had to be postponed to Monday, and it's like, yeah, you know, I don't think we ever really forecasted for, you know, winter weather in NASCAR very often. So usually in Florida it's getting warmer by this time of year, so it always seems to work out. But you know, the West Coast swings usually the start of the year. So yeah, it's a bummer that of all the years that we get hit with that harsh winter weather, this year it just so happened to fall.
I don't know if we'll see the Clash at Bowman Gray anymore, but luckily they're being accommodating with this current weather, and we'll hopefully get to see some racing on Monday. But yeah, I don't know how much longer we may see it move a little bit further down south.
That's the nice thing about iRacing. We can run here at Langley, and I'm sure real life right now there's probably snow covering the racetrack, but we're nice, green, and sunny here on the track today.
Yeah, for the sim time, it's July 18th, 2026. So it's July here on virtual Langley Speedway. Sun is out. Sun will still be out for qualifying. It's going to be 4:15 p.m. virtual time, and then it's going to be a night race. So drivers not only are going to have to keep up with the setup just generally on the racetrack, but they're also going to have to keep up with the weather, because the track is going to completely change from how it's going to feel in qualifying. The sun's going to be beating on the track. It's going to be bright, hot, and slick. Then when it transitions to race time, it's going to cool off. It's going to get faster. It's going to grip up. So drivers need to account for that in their setup building.
That's definitely one of the more fascinating aspects of this Afterburner 200. I remember last year having to set up my car to race with everyone, and that, you know, that was an experience in its own, because I sat in front of my computer and I tested and tested, and I even, you know, resorted to ask my dad, because he usually would set up Baja 1000 trucks back in the day. He was a mechanic. Not exactly the same, you know, it doesn't really transfer over identically, but he has, you know, an idea on what I needed to adjust to get this and that out of the car. And it was a fun experience getting to, you know, learn the setups and tweak the setups, even if you don't have one of those crews out there that can get you that setup. I mean, there's always going to be a way to make your car a little bit more in your comfort zone. And yeah, for sure, definitely a curveball for some of these drivers, I could imagine.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome to see, you know, how much iRacing, because people think, you know, it's a simulation, it's got really cool graphics, but all of the adjustments that you can make on these ARCA cars are the same things that real-life crew chiefs and real-life car chiefs are thinking about when they're building these ARCA cars to take it to short tracks, super speedways, mile and a half. So iRacing's super cool with all of the adjustments that they can make. So not only will this race determine who is the best driver, but also who is the best setup builder, who can best adapt the setup throughout this race and have the best performing car possible.
We do have a payout for the top 5 here today. Winner will get $50 cash. Second place gets $25, and third place will regain their entry fee at $20. Fourth place will get a $10 paycheck, and fifth place gets a $5 paycheck. And then also, Atlee, I would like you to kind of explain a little bit more on this Hard Luck Award. Who exactly are we going to be looking out here tonight, and how does a driver qualify for this Hard Luck Award presented by Premier Racing Setups?
Yeah, so for the Premier Racing Setups Hard Luck Award, we're going to be looking for drivers who may have led laps, qualified up front, or had great speed, but they faced some hard luck and ultimately couldn't get the checkered flag. You see it all the time in real life where a driver will be up front, be having such a good race, and then a motor might blow up, or they might be collateral damage in a wreck, and you're like, oh man, I hate that for them. That's the kind of person that we want that hard luck award to go to.
So kind of based on our assessment here tonight, will it be on us to kind of come to an agreement with that award by the end of the night, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think the plan is to just, try to come to an agreement and, look for a moment where we'll see it and be like, oh man, that's definitely some hard luck right there. I'm sure we'll know it.
I'm a little bit bummed. I was trying to think of all the neat graphics to put together, and so I apologize, folks. I don't have a neat graphic. I think it would have been a great idea to have a graphic that would pop up at the end of the event here tonight with the hard luck award, but we'll just roll with what we've got. So down to 1 minute left in practice here. We are going to be going green a little bit later here tonight, but not too far from the original planned start time. So just a little bit more seat time for these drivers to get a little bit more comfortable with their car. Doesn't look like the lap times have really changed a whole lot. Once you get into the long run of practice, they kind of slow down a little bit.
Yeah, the thing is, this track is getting super rubbered up. So the track is not going to lose any rubber as we transition to qualifying, as we transition to the race. And that mimics real life. Obviously, if a rain shower blows through, then you might lose some of the rubber off the track. But for the most part, from practice to the race, it's going to be the same amount of rubber throughout the event. So that's exactly what we're trying to imitate here. So drivers not going to, if they get high up the racetrack, they're going to find themselves in the marbles. There should be some good grip down there on the bottom of the racetrack, but there'll also be marbles down there on that apron as well. But one driver has had it figured out all practice long, Wesley Newell. Although it's not as cool as winning qualifying or winning the race, it surely gives you a good notebook and good setup. Wesley Newell will win practice.
As we get transferred over to the next session here, it looks like a little bit more cloudy cover, so the track conditions change just a little bit for these drivers. We'll go ahead and hot potato around between the drivers as they come out to make their qualifying session. And whichever drivers I do have information on, I'll try my best to cover. Right here we got the 84 of Wyatt Howell. Was Howell a later entry into the lineup here this past week, Atlee, or?
Yes, he did join a little bit later, but Wyatt earlier today was at the Hampton Roads Kart Club banquet receiving some awards for his season in go-karts. So it's definitely been an exciting season for him in real life, and he also frequently competes here on iRacing. First lap was a 15.859. We see he spins out as he's coming off of 2 on his second lap, so he'll only have that 1 lap to try to bounce on.
Here we have Aiden Millett, another staple in the Langley Speedway analog annals, or I guess just he's got a lot of history here in the last couple years at Langley Speedway. Second quickest at a 16.07. Did miss Avery Farrell. He's a regular here at Langley as well. He had a 16.76. Here we have Nick Mather out of London, Ontario. Our lone Canadian in the field here tonight.
Now, always nice to see people, our neighbors up north, hopping in and taking on an American short track. I've announced races with Nick in it prior in the SCSRA series. He used to run in there. He decided to hop back on the sim for a little bit, see what he can do, and he will bounce to 4th so far with a 16.564. Pretty solid lap time for him. So that'll put Avery right now in 5th, trying to see if he can improve on lap number 2. William Griffith third right now with a 16.102. See Ashton Thomas also turning a lap time.
Wesley Newell jumps up into fourth quickest with a 16.14. It's looking like the lap times are comparable to what they were running in practice, just a little bit faster and a little bit slower on the other end. There we go, 15.96 for Wesley Newell.
Yeah, there's no really goal of trying to be careful here. You're trying to push that car as hard as possible and kind of just have a kill mindset. So in practice, some of these drivers may have been turning fast times just by being consistent, letting those tires get warmed up. But here, you only have 2 laps to try to get those tires warmed up, so you've got to send it right away.
Yeah, definitely a harder sin to make when you're out there driving on cold tires. Corey Bigley here, third quickest after his second lap. He's a staple amongst the other iRacing leagues as well as real life racing. I've called a couple races with Corey Bigley on the is it the ITZR?
Yeah, he's an ITZR. Yeah.
Okay. Here we have James Wright, who joined in here late tonight, part of the Sigma racing series that I've hosted the last couple years, so it's kind of neat to see. We had a Sigma branch last year, and unfortunately a couple drivers weren't able to rejoin this year, so we got James flying the banner here tonight. So, and that is a wrap.
Looks like everybody has completed their lap times. White Hal on the pole.
Very tight between him and Millette, who had a 15.87 to Howell's 15.86.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good race between both of those. Both of those drivers have experience here at Langley. The top 4 all have experience here at Langley. Wesley in that 4th place spot, he's a super truck driver at Langley. Corey, the only non-Langley driver in real life, but he is still a short track racer competing in pro trucks across Florida. So the IRL drivers certainly getting it done here in qualifying.
Of course, thank you everyone that's tuned in, getting ready here for 200 laps of racing action. So maybe grab some snacks, grab a drink, because before long it's going to be into the nitty-gritty here tonight for 200 laps here at Langley Speedway. And there you have your starting lineup. We can fill it in on one sheet there, 10 drivers. It'll be kind of a more intimate race field here tonight, but sometimes those can be the more exciting races too, as you've got Wyatt Howell and Aiden Millette, as we've already mentioned, your top 2 starters. Corey Bigley and Wesley Newell, 3rd and 4th, followed by William Griffith.
Then we see in 6th, it's going to be Joe Wright. 7th is Nick Mather. 8th is going to be Ashton Thomas. 9th is Avery Farrell. And then rounding out the top 10, it's going to be James Wright.
I'm glad you said Avery Farrell, because I've always mispronounced it. I think Farrell. So it is Farrell. Say it one more time.
Farrell.
Farrell.
Avery Farrell.
Okay. As they get their warm-up laps here, following behind the pace truck here tonight.
Got a lot of good-looking race cars in this field. I like a lot of the paint schemes. I'm sure somebody might gravitate towards one, but definitely a few stand out to me. People on iRacing, especially in the short track community, definitely take those paint schemes seriously, and it definitely is reflected here. So even if you might not necessarily win the show, a lot of drivers trying to beat the show with their paint schemes.
Oh, for real. Trading paints has been probably my favorite creation in the racing world, because it allows people and their creative minds to flow. So you can see a whole
green.
And just like that, yeah, we're rolling here tonight. Sorry, I was stumbling there.
Aiden Millett around the outside looking very good off of turn number 2. We see White Howell trying to hold on the outside. We see the 19 pushes up the racetrack. Howell able to take that lead now. Here comes Wesley Newell on the bottom. He's got the nose over Millett as they head through turns 1 and 2. And as Newell makes his way off the corner, he gets up to second. So from second all the way to third goes the 19 of Aiden Millett.
At this point, you're kind of wanting to settle in, get a feel for the car. You don't want to go too hard, too fast here, and burn up your stuff. But yeah, it's getting a little bit rowdy there. Millett getting a little bit loose, a little bit out of control. He bumped into the 11 of Newell and allowed for Howell to drive far away for the moment. Corey Bigley up to third.
Yeah, Corey Bigley taking advantage of the 19, getting all out of sorts. As you said, taking it easy. We saw Millett send it down there into 1 and 2 during the 11 of Wesley Newell. Newell hangs on to it. And Wyatt Howell is checking out away from the field so far. He has ran the fastest lap time of the race with a 15.73 last time by. We've got a yellow flag.
Alrighty, only 5 laps in before the first caution here tonight. Let's dial up the replay and see what happened. So it looks like Nick Mather of the 16 car was involved here. We'll see how that transpires. That's the 82 in front of him of Joe Wright, and the 34 of Avery Farrell behind him. Farrell.
It looks like Mather pushes up the racetrack a little bit on entry, but he gets back down to the bottom. And we see Farrell
just touches.
Looking low off the corner. Yeah, into his left rear.
Around goes the 16 from contact there, it looks like, from the 34.
Still a long race left. It's not going to take you out of anything.
Well, while we're under caution here, let us put in a sponsor for the race, Premier Racing Setups, and we'll show you the ad.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
And already you can start to look towards perhaps who may be a eligible candidate for tonight's Premier Racing Setups Hard Luck Award. Already you saw the 19 of Aiden Millett with a bit of a rough start there. It's very, it can be recovered pretty easily here, but definitely a hard start for sure for the 19.
Green flag, green flag.
We're back and rolling.
Starting on the bottom here. And we see Wyatt Howell immediately able to get to the front there. Wesley Newell tucks in line into second, Corey Bigley third. And as we talked about him, Aiden Millett trying to work his way back up through the field. He makes it by William Griffith for that fourth place spot. Now all over the back bumper of Corey Bigley for third.
And I do want to highlight here too, was the 82 got a little bit loose there.
Yellow flag.
I'll get back to what I was talking about here in a moment as we have a replay to dial up. So getting a little bit rambunctious in the mid-pack here. It looks like the 82 and the 12 side-by-side racing. If I remember right, it looked like the 82 might have got loose in front of the 12 perhaps.
Looks like he was able to get clear of him going into 1 and 2 there.
maybe just carried a little bit too much momentum into turn one. Both of them slideways
It was
there.
like synchronized spinning. You've heard of synchronized swimming. There's synchronized spinning.
For sure. And so that's William Griffith in the number 12 car there. And it was Joe Wright in the 82. But that's what brought out the caution here. So what I was going to mention, as some of you might not know, green flag laps only are counting here tonight. So the caution flag laps do not count. And that's where I had noticed that the lap counter started back where we were running. As soon as the green flag waved, caution laps don't count. The ticker up above might be a little bit confusing to follow at the moment, but I think we'll get back to racing on lap 7, if I'm not mistaken.
One thing I do want to point out is it looks like Corey Bigley went down pit road and topped off on fuel. So with all of our early cautions so far, there may be concerns that drivers may not be able to make it all the way on fuel. It's like lights on the pace truck are off, so we're getting ready to go back green here. It's going to be Wyatt Howell on the bottom, Wesley Newell on the top behind them. It's Aiden Millette, Joe Wright, and then rounding out your top 5, it's James Wright.
We got 2 rights in the field and no wrongs, so.
Green.
Green flag back in the air. Wyatt Howell, another great start. Aiden Millette trying to follow behind Tim on the bottom. He's underneath Wesley Newell off of turn number 2. These two have already got into it a little bit. Both of them up the racetrack through 3 and 4. Here comes James Wright trying to snap second.
And that opened up the door for that inside line between the 19 and 11 duking it out for second. Now you've got
Caution,
Millette
yellow flag.
defending for third. Man, wow, what a crazy start there. Okay, so
Another caution flag.
we are in caution fever mode right now. I do believe the caution came out for this incident, so let's see if this was the incident. The 16 of Nick Mather. As you can see already, almost 3 wide between him, Bigley, and Farrell. Just kind of lost it there on the nose of Bigley. I don't know if there was there wasn't much room there, unfortunately, for the 16s, so.
Yeah, there was room for 2 cars, and there were 3 cars there, so somebody wasn't going to make it out of it, and looks like, unfortunately, that was Nick and Corey both heading back to the rear of the field. Very rough race for Corey Bigley so far after starting in the top 3.
So yeah, it looks like we will kind of cycle back to the last complete lap. Millette did not officially lose second place there to James Wright, so Wright will be third. Joe Wright will be 4th. Wesley Newell 5th. Avery Farrell 6th. Ashton Thomas 7th. William Griffith 8th. Nick Mather 9th. And Corey Bigley 10th. We do know that Bigley did decide to pit last time, so he kind of put himself back here in the hornet's nest, as some might say. And he'll have to try and avoid any further shenanigans in the back there.
Yeah, that's the tricky part, is even though we only have 10 cars and there isn't a ton of track position to lose, just giving up just that little bit, we've got a whole lot of competitive cars that passing isn't going to be very easy. But once again, Wyatt Howell, Aiden Millette, your front row. It's been some good starts and restarts for Wyatt Howell so far. James Wright, Joe Wright trying to work their way up into the top 2. Wesley Newell trying to get back up there after getting roughed up during that last green flag run. Oh, and a tough start there for Wyatt Howell. I don't know if he had trouble getting it into gear or what happened, but he immediately loses the lead to Aiden Millette. Wyatt Howell falls to second. James Wright now in third. And here's Wyatt Howell immediately making up ground on the 19 and taking that lead back. Just a small setback for car 84, but got super loose there into 1 and 2. That 84 is having some trouble staying stable right now.
Well, and I almost wonder if let him have the spot back. I don't think there's going to be a penalty or anything because they went at the start zone, but who knows exactly. We're watching from the sidelines here. Definitely a wild start. Wow, the 84 still, is it?
Looks like the 19 has been black flagged.
Okay, so I might have been onto something there, but I couldn't be for certain on that. That's a tough break. Going laps down here tonight might be a tough one to come back from. Do we get lucky dogs? Is that going to be a factor here?
Yes, there will be lucky dogs.
So maybe not. It might not.
He was able to stay on the lead lap. He was able to go through pit road and get off, serve the penalty, while still staying on the lead lap. And I think if anybody needs to come in for fuel, they'll be able to come in and stay on the lead lap. The only thing that will put you down a lap by going onto pit road, I believe, will be coming in and taking tires, because that's a pretty time-consuming process. That'll be 10 plus seconds. Got a really tight battle right now from between second, third, and fourth. It's Wesley Newell in second, Avery Farrell in third, and James Wright in fourth. Could throw a blanket over them right now, just waiting to see who will make a move on who first. And the toughest task right now is definitely Avery, because he's not only having to play offense by trying to make the pass on Wesley Newell, but he's also trying to play defense and hold off James Wright. So a battle on two fronts for the 34. Elsewhere, we see Corey Bigley's back in the top 5.
Kind of getting settled into a neat run here at the moment after having a caution-filled start to this race. Looks like we're going to complete about 10 laps under green here.
Yes, we finally had the typical short track phrase, cautions breed cautions, definitely coming into play and ringing true, but now everybody's kind of mellowed out a little bit, tucked in line where they want to be for this long green flag run. Again, we could go green the rest of this race, or we could have another caution flag come out. It's all up to the drivers, whatever they choose to do. If we see a caution, then it'll give drivers an opportunity to come in under yellow and change tires, get fuel if need be. If not, we may have green flag pit stops on the horizon in just a little bit. Lap times still haven't changed too much. Wyatt Howell is only a 10th off of his best lap. But Langley Speedway is very abrasive, so once that car starts to get out of hand, if you're burning up that right rear a little bit or burning up that right front, it's going to progressively get worse and worse and worse until it gets undrivable. And it sneaks up on you, because at first you're thinking, man, my car is still feeling fine after 50, 75 laps. And then it hits you that you're either pushing like a dump truck or you can't apply the throttle off the corner.
Impressively enough, Wyatt Howell has gotten out to about a 2.5 second lead over Newell. And he's slowly catching up to Aiden Millette here. Millette not really in the danger zone, but going a lap down, he'll have to take a lucky dog to get back to the lead lap if he does fall a lap down here. For Millette, his best case scenario would be to see a quick caution, but we don't know if that's going to happen, because it seems like they've kind of got things sorted out for a while here. Bigley starting to close the gap in on James Wright for fourth.
Yeah, Bigley has done a great job working his way back up to the field after being involved in our previous caution, having to restart from the rear. He has already passed 5 cars now and looking to try to break his way into the top 4. See William Griffith up there as well in 6th. 2nd through 6th is all very tight right now as James Wright goes way up the racetrack.
Looks like he's going to have to settle into 6th there and kind of recover, recoup, and recalculate.
I don't know if the car just got tight on him, or maybe he wasn't liking how fast the pace was. Maybe thinks he needs to save a little bit more, but drops all the way up to 6th, so that'll move Corey Bigley to 4th, and William Griffith now up into the top 5.
This battle's still pretty heavy here for 3rd place, 3rd and 2nd between Newell and Farrell.
And now Avery being pretty patient. I think anytime you're going to catch somebody while also trying to save tires, you're going to be patient and only try to make the move if it's easy enough and the opportunity presents itself. Because if not, if you're pushing too hard, too early, then you're just going to be burning up your tires unnecessarily. And so that's one of the things I was wondering when you said Wyatt Howlett jumped out to such a big lead. He currently has a 1.5 second lead. The question that I'm wondering is his pace currently sustainable? So I know one of the things that he's maybe thinking about is what's the pace behind him and what's the pace that he needs to run to still save tires enough but keep Wesley Newell at bay and not let him get too close and take that lead. Because you want the track position, but you also want fresh tires later on in the race to gain track position if other people catch you. So right now he is hoping that Wesley and Avery will stay occupied in this battle.
And of course lap traffic is kind of mixing in on that as well, so Wyatt Howell maybe having to kind of readjust his line here and figure out a way around Millette. Millette's a quick car to be going a lap down, so I gotta imagine that Wyatt Howell kind of having to adjust his line on the go.
Around, trouble. Ashton Thomas goes around in turns 3 and 4.
And so he just went a lap down when Wyatt Howell went around him here. This is going to be that caution that Millette needed for sure. It looks like the 33 just kind of loses it on the exit of turn 2 here. Or was it turn 3?
Looked like it was
on the next turn.
On inch. Yeah, it looks, because that was one of my biggest. I ran these cars, I tested the setup, and the biggest thing that I noticed was how free the fixed setup was on iRacing on entry. So it looks like, yeah, it just loses it. Car comes out from underneath them, and it happens super quickly where you get out of the gas, you get into the brake, and then the car will not settle at all. And that's exactly what happened to Ashton Thomas. He gets black flagged now on pit road. And also, while serving the black flag, looks like Ashton Thomas took his one and only set of tires. So he will have a tire advantage over the rest of the field. We'll see if it pays off. He will be 2 laps down now. My apologies, 1 lap's down. So hoping for a caution to try to get back on the lead lap and take advantage of the tire advantage while he can.
Well, this is going to stack them all back up. We're going to be getting back green here next time by, and it's going to be Howell, Newell, Farrell, and Bigley, your top 4. Griffith, Joe Wright, Nick Mather, Aiden Millette, and James Wright of your lead lap drivers. Ashton Thomas, of course, a lap down. And so
I'll also point out that James Wright came in and topped off on fuel. So more drivers understanding that they will not be able to make it all the way on fuel, coming in and topping off while they have the opportunity.
And definitely with the green flag only laps counting, that could be tough to gauge, especially when
green flag.
If you have a heavier degree of cautions at the end of the race here, it might be harder to save that fuel.
Yeah, that's exactly what. There's so much going through these drivers' minds right now, but right now on Wesley Newell's mind is trying to get that first place spot from Wyatt Howell, trying to get it done on the outside. He's right there on the door of the 84 as they head through 1 and 2. Howell trying to shut the door off at 2, and he is able to. So Newell tucking in line into 2nd. We see Avery Farrell in 3rd, Corey Bigley 4th. William Griffith rounds out your top 5.
And they're all connected nose to tail, 1 through 5, really tight at the front of the field here. Last start, the 84 had made a mistake, and it kind of shuffled things up. Didn't look like anyone really made a mistake on this start, so we're off and rolling, heading towards lap 40. Only about 1/4 of the way through the race, 1/5 of the way through the race here tonight.
I know this race has had so much intensity, and it's hard to believe that we are not even at the halfway point yet of this race. You can tell just how much these drivers, want the bragging rights, want that $50 prize for first place, and they're going to have to fight as hard as possible for it. We got some lap traffic that Howell is having to go around right now. Ashton Thomas just holding that high line, letting everybody go by. And another driver, we mentioned there were 5 cars nose to tail. Now there's 6, as Aiden Millett got his lap back, or he was he got back to the rear of the field, got caught up with the field. He was at danger of going a lap down, so he got caught back up with the field, and now he is in 6th place, has worked his way up past a few cars and trying to see if he can work his way up into the top 5. First car he will need to pass is that 12 of William Griffith. And I heard over comms when that caution flag came out, Wesley Newell told Avery Farrell, he's like, hey, you can pass me if you want to. And Avery's like, no, I'm just tucking in line behind you, just trying to keep your pace so you don't get away from me, but I'm still saving tires. So that's probably what a lot of these drivers are thinking right now as they're riding behind. They don't want to push the issue. They don't want to force the issue, because if they do that, they will burn up their tires unnecessarily. So the only reason why we may see a pass now in this train of 6 cars is if an easy opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, racing is definitely a lot like chess. You have to make those moves when they count the most. And making a move right now with 154 laps to go might not be the move to make. So yeah, it's who's holding their cards closest to their chest and not showing what they've got. Sometimes could be the winning strategy that none of us saw coming.
Yeah, now I've always heard racing is 3D chess, where, yeah, you're always trying to think 1 to 2 moves ahead, and maybe more so super speedway or road course racing. But even in short track racing, there's a lot of strategy with how hard you want to push. Do you want to maintain track position, or do you want to save tires? Track position maybe not as much as an importance compared to a field of 40 ARCA cars that we could have potentially had, but at the same time, still super important, because just looking at the qualifying times, the field, the top 7 or 8 cars was super tight, and the field is still super tight. 6 cars all within just a close gap between each other. And we see a little bit of a gap to Nick Mather in 7th, but he's still maintaining that spot. James Wright trying to work his way back up through the field after coming in and topping off on fuel. He made that decision to come onto pit road, and hoping it pays off, because some drivers, I mean, there's just, I've been in these longer races before. I've competed in 2 Hampton heats here at Langley, which are both 200 laps, and there is just so much going through your head as a driver. And oftentimes, you'll have a crew chief, you'll have a spotter helping you work through decisions, helping you maintain pace, but these drivers are honestly on their own, except for maybe the iRacing spotter that's providing them limited information about maybe the location of cars around them. But for the most part, they are relying pretty much on their own judgment for what they want to do. I will say Aiden Millett gets into Corey Bigley. I was about to say he had worked his way to 5th, but he makes major contact with Bigley, knocks him down to 5th.
Well, and I wanted to add on to that game plan of that strategy of chess. Often gets kind of, it gets amplified by short track aggression. And we just saw that on full display there. I mean, sometimes there's a move that presents itself that may or may not be the best move available, but sometimes you just you go for it, and wrong, right, or indifferent, it's all part of the short track package. And I guess like Denny Hamlin would always say, it's just short track racing,
But the other aspect of short track aggression, though, is that if you dish it out, you also have to be able to take it.
Right.
And we've already, so I'm sure Corey Bigley will have that in the memory bank, because another saying is that race car drivers have the memory of an elephant. So if that same opportunity presents itself to dish it back out later in the race, I'm sure Corey Bigley won't hold back.
Yeah, my local experience watching short tracks around Pacific Northwest here, a lot of the strategy does come down to that fuel and tire saving for these big, long races. And usually they do have a midway break, so the fuel's not as much of a factor, but the tires are definitely a huge factor. But yeah, it's all kind of sprinkled together with these other factors, the aggression, track conditions. Sometimes you might have unexpected track conditions that might have a little bit of rain in the area. You might have the track degrading. You might have parts of the track falling apart that they have to go out there and patch up during the day. I've definitely seen those instances before. Obviously, with iRacing, we kind of simplify those factors out of it a little bit, but these drivers, even racing in the iRacing, have different things that work against them. It may be internet latency or stuff like that. They might have someone walking through the house. Their cat could hop up on the keyboard. I know that that's happened to me before. So, yeah, just crazy to think of all the different factors that could definitely factor in when you're playing in the simulator.
The other thing I also think about, and that's oftentimes out of control, is netcode as well. Oftentimes iRacing. Oh, and as I talked about, wanting to dish it out, we see Corey Bigley gives Millette the bumper there off of turn number 2, so that'll be something interesting watch between these two. Already had a run-in before. We'll see how that progresses. But what I was going to say is netcode, always plays a factor too, because iRacing will register that you hit somebody and you actually didn't, so sometimes that can just be an accidental wreck that happens. So many different factors. Obviously, you can't take over every single factor from real life and move it to a simulation because it's not real life, but you can obviously account for a whole lot. And at the same time, there are other factors that go with racing on a computer, like you said, latency, netcode, all that stuff that comes into play as well. But Wyatt Howell, he is on a Sunday drive right now, about to be 67 laps into this one. He is currently 3 seconds ahead of Wesley Newell. That is a major gap. But the question that you've always got to ask when you're watching these short track races is it sustainable? Can Wyatt Howell continue to hang on to this lead while not burning up his tires? And we will definitely find that out later in the race, because if you have burn out your tires, it's going to reveal itself, and that 3 second gap will quickly evaporate in no time. He will have some lap traffic to deal with, lap traffic that's side by side, in fact. James Wright, Nick Mather, both in his way currently. They're going to try to get things settled out single file so that he can move by them in a timely manner.
And even like that, Wyatt Howell picking them off one by one. Not losing a whole lot of time in the transfer there, passing around the lap traffic.
So that'll put just 6 cars down a lap right now. I mean, on the lead lap right now. And these have kind of been the 6 cars that have been a factor for a lot of this one. Looks like that's William Griffith, and he's off the pace right now. He was another one of those drivers in the top 5. No caution comes out. I am not entirely sure what happened there.
Let's see, there is a replay here available. It's looking like maybe Joe Wright in the 82. That's lap traffic that they're coming upon. You got Bigley in the 28 and Griffith in the 12 here.
And now we have officially a caution coming out. Griffith has crashed again.
Okay, so we'll see what the first instance here was. This would have been a couple laps prior. And this puts him a lap down. Yeah, he gets into the 82.
Oof.
And I don't know if it actually spins him out, but he makes contact with the 82. And that definitely slows him up here as the 82 slides down across the apron. No caution, as we previously mentioned there. But then, further on down the line, the caution does come out for this instance.
Like that car was already wiggling through turns 1 and 2. Looks like it happens on 3 and 4. And he just, does he lose it on entry?
Yeah, it looks similar.
Yeah, it looks like the cars, yeah, same thing that we saw with Ashton Thomas. So the cars on entry and the stability has definitely been a major factor. So one of the in-car adjustments that you can make is brake bias.
And like as things go on longer and longer, the tires get more and more wore down. We'll probably see that instance repeat itself a little bit more often towards the end of this one. As some drivers have opted to take their one set of tires already, they may be in for a long night had they hadn't waited to go past halfway to get their fresh tires. So they're going to have to go the entirety of basically the next 3/4 of this race on the pair of tires that they've got. So
still, none of the cars on the lead lap have came in yet and taken their set of tires. We'll say Corey Bigley did come in again and top off on fuel some more, so fuel still a factor in these drivers' mind, but top 3 all haven't came in yet to take any fuel. It's Wyatt Howell, Wesley Newell making up your front row, then it's Avery Farrell, Aiden Millette, and Corey Bigley. Pace truck is in, got to be 73 laps in. Here we go. Solid restart there for Wyatt Howell, but Wesley Newell hanging on the top, keeping it right there on that right rear. But we see Howell is able to clear him. Aiden Millette makes it by Avery Farrell to take that 3rd place spot, knocking the 34 down the 4th. And we see Corey Bigley tucks in line into 5th place at the moment. And then James Wright, our final, trouble! 1 and 2, William Griffith, James Wright around.
I was going to say, there was some more bumping and banging on that restart. Things were getting a little bit more crazy there. And it kind of chain reaction down to the back of the field, it looks like. This would have been for 5th and 6th. Or perhaps 6th and 7th. Oh, man, he just loses it.
Just lost it again. Yeah, I don't know if maybe just needs a brake bias adjustment or something, but that car does not look like it's handling well on entry. Yeah, but James Wright on pit road right now. He's got some nose damage on that 50 car.
He misses it there. I wonder if there's another instance after that. It does look like he has the nose damage already. Must have been on the initial start. It didn't happen there with Griffith, at least.
Looks like James got some fuel on pit road, got some damage fixed. And Nick Mather now will get back onto the lead lap, so we now have 7 cars back on the lead lap and into contention for this race. Joe Wright will now have the lucky dog spot if we do see another caution, but we saw it in the first half of this race. We had a nice long green flag run, and now we're seeing it ring true again, where cautions breed cautions. And now we'll see if maybe this will be followed up by another long green flag run.
Wyatt Howell definitely impressing by leading so many laps here so far tonight. He could be setting himself up for a heartbreak if something were to happen here, but who knows? Maybe he could seal the deal and get the job done. Putting together a masterpiece right now. But you got to keep it together for all 200 laps. Newell starting right alongside of him. Millette back up into the top 3. That's going to be the highest he's been since falling all the way back.
Is all over the back bumper of the 84 as they head into 1 and 2, but once again it's Wesley Newell and Wyatt Howell battling for that 1st place spot. But Newell, we see Aiden Millette dives down to the bottom, trying to take that 2nd place spot from Newell. He's got the nose as they cross the start-finish line. He continues to hang on to 2nd for now. Now he's got Corey Bigley on his back bumper. Wesley Newell trying to fight back on the outside. not letting Aiden Millett give up. We see Corey Bigley go sideways through 1 and 2, able to save it. And we see Millett officially gets clear of Wesley Newell for that 3rd place spot. Avery Farrell now in 4th. And then it's going to be Corey Bigley falls to 5th, although we do see the lap car of Ashton Thomas. He has worked his way up through the field. And we see Wesley Newell able to get back by Aiden Millett for the 2nd place spot. So this has been a chaotic but clean restart.
And for Ashton Thomas, maybe getting kind of a feel for the car now. He's going to have to race to get his laps back or get the lucky dogs. And right now, putting up a good fight in the lead group here, working alongside Avery Farrell for what would be 4th place if he were on the lead lap.
One thing to note with Ashton, though, is he has already taken his set of tires, and he is 5 laps down, so he is going to need a miracle to try to work his way back onto the lead lap. And looks like that car is already getting out of sorts as he pushes up the racetrack, and his time in what would be the top 5 is done as Corey Bigley gets back by him, and he is just continuing to have handling issues.
Wyatt Howell starting to put together an advantage again at the front, up to 1.6 seconds on Newell.
It just looks like he can just take that car anywhere he wants it to. This time by, he is still only 0.2 off of his best lap time, still in the 15-second bracket. So Wyatt has a ton of speed right now, definitely impressing, but we're just going to see how long that will last. There goes Avery Farrell by Aiden Millett for that 3rd place spot. And Millett gets into his back bumper, gets him sideways up the racetrack, and Millett will take that 3rd place spot back. We see Corey Bigley also goes by the 34, so some aggressive racing going on right now for that 3rd place spot. Luckily, Avery able to hang on to it, but we've talked about it again. If you can dish it out, you got to be able to take it, and I'm sure he'll remember that.
I must say, Aiden Millett is not out there to make friends tonight. He's out there to try and win the race, and he's putting in some very aggressive moves, but, you know, he's doing them with class. He's not just straight out taking them out. He's giving them the bump. He's rattling the cage, and he's going to get his cage rattled back here.
Oh, and 3 and 4. Oh, pile up.
Well, that's what happens when you get inside of the other driver's head. Sometimes mistakes are made. And it kind of caused that pile up there, as we saw. Let's go back and see what all transpired there. So yeah, Avery Farrell in the 34 right there behind the 19 of Millett. It was a little bit upset with the move that Millett made a couple laps prior, and went ahead and sent the message back, signed, sealed, and delivered, but maybe not quite to the right post office here, as it caused him to get caught up in the wreck himself. Bigley goes around. James Wright makes contact. A little bit of air for Farrell there. Also tangled into it, the 12 of Griffith, and even Ashton Thomas kind of in the background there, and the 16 of Nick Mather as well, just kind of coming through the dust. Well, I think
short track racing.
I think they've kind of set the mark here tonight, that it's going to be no holds barred. The gloves are off.
Yeah, it's been a WWE fight so far. So at this point now, we have 8 cars back onto the lead lap. So it's William Griffith getting back onto the lead lap. I mean, he showed some speed in this race, so I'm sure he's glad to be back up there. We did see Joe Wright come down pit road, get some fuel. James Wright got some fuel, got some damage fixed. Still, nobody else really on the lead lap has taken that set of tires yet. So we'll continue to monitor that.
And I gotta imagine the best rule of thumb will be to go past halfway. That way you can feel at least a little bit more comfortable that you should be good to go to the finish. But you never know. You might want to hold on to them until 50 to go. Who knows? Because then if you don't have them and someone else has them with 50 to go, they are sitting on a golden pair of tires.
Green flag back in the air. Wyatt Howell still up front. We see Wesley Newell able to tuck in line into that second place spot. There goes Avery Farrell around the outside of Aiden Millette for third. We've already seen these two get into it in this race, so we'll see how things continue to progress. Outside, not exactly the preferred groove here at Langley, but if you fight hard enough, you can sometimes make it work, and that's exactly what Farrell is trying to do right here.
Whoa.
We see Millette up the racetrack. There goes Corey Bigley, able to get to his left rear. Millette all out of sorts. Can he hang on to it?
Wow.
What a save.
Wow. I was going to say that was a trio we did not want to see working together. And somehow they, I mean, obviously Millette got the worst of it here and falls all the way back to 7th. But they all keep it going in the forward direction. So the big winner of that whole battle, Corey Bigley, made a bold move going way low, kind of pushing the envelope there, and it caused the 19 of Millette to just get way slideways.
Caution, yellow flag.
And we're back.
Crazy.
Back under caution again. Well, I'm going to have to take a chill pill after some of these restarts, man. They're getting me all amped up. Holy cow. So this is our next caution here. It looks like Aiden Millette's right there behind the 12 of Griffith. Millette goes way low under the apron, under the yellow line. Slides up the track and clips the 12 there, Griffith. And that's what brings out the caution here. Unfortunately, Griffith just kind of on the wrong end of that altercation there.
Yeah, now, yeah, I agree. I just got to take a deep breath right now because the restarts just keep getting crazier and crazier. We're still not even to the halfway point yet. Still nobody has taken their sets of tires yet. Still 8 cars on the lead lap, 8 cars with a chance to win. And clearly wow, this has been quite the race so far. Second annual Afterburner 200 is definitely impressed for the entertainment factor so far.
We probably have some sleepers in the background that you would not expect. I almost feel like there'd almost need to be an award for the hard charger somewhere too, later down the line, maybe year 3 or later iterations of this event. I mean, it's been interesting from some of the guys moving through the field. We've got James, who qualified 10th here tonight. He's up into the top 5, back in 4th here for this restart. He just kind of quietly staying, status quo, not getting into too much trouble, but also making the most of the positions that he's gaining here. You've also got, Avery Farrell and Wyatt Howell, who started on the pole here. He has been lights out so far, but still 104 laps, 106 laps to go.
Yeah, Wyatt Howell is definitely impressed, but again, just got to keep wondering, will it last? Wesley Newell hoping it won't as he tucks in line into second there. Got Corey Bigley and James Wright battling for third right now. There's Corey Bigley taking that third place spot. There's Nick Mather back up in the top 5. Good to see him back up there after it's been quite the tough race so far. They remain side by side, Wright trying to hang on to the outside. Again, not the preferred groove, but can try to make it work. Nick Mather now up into 4th. Avery Farrell works his way back up into the top 5, so a lot of moving and shaking going on after that most recent restart. And Ashton Thomas still showing some speed despite being multiple laps down. Now 9 cars on the lead lap.
I'm starting to wonder if Millet's stuff is used up here. He might be one of the first to take tires of the lead group that have not yet taken tires, because he's struggling in the back there. And a loose slip sliding around the racetrack right now. So gotta imagine there's gonna be some drivers. Did Millet take tires? No, he got a black flag. That's what happened earlier. He got a black flag.
Yeah, he may have topped off on fuel a little bit, but no tires were taken.
It's a little bit harder to figure out where to watch on track. They're pretty well spread out at the moment.
What round off of 4, William
Yellow
Griffith.
flag.
So William Griffith brings out back-to-back cautions here. Oh, and
It wasn't his fault, though.
maybe a little bit of help from Millet again. So almost a carbon copy from the last caution. Entry into turn 3. Same, almost identical. Millet goes below the yellow line. He takes a bigger chunk out of him this time. Gets right up to the tires, the rear tire on poor Griffith there, getting spun in a battle for 8th and 9th place. Just kind of kisses the wall there at the end. So got to start to wonder, when is the window going to open for some of these drivers? Are they going to want to save it for as long as they can, or are we going to start seeing some takers? If I was Wyatt Howell, I'd probably stay out as long as I could. Hasn't shown much signs of weakness yet. All it's going to take is that one chunk to really fall off, though, and that might be a restart away. You never know.
Yeah, there's definitely no sign of concern right now that I would have for the 84. Last time by, before that caution flag came out, he was only 0.2 off of his best lap time. I would say when we start to see concern is if drivers start to be a half a second off their best lap time, but Wyatt Howell isn't too far off. Wesley Newell, honestly, looks like he still has plenty of tread on those tires. Avery Farrell does. Not sure about Corey Bigley. He has had a roller coaster of a race. That car has been sideways at time, but for the most part, we haven't really had a ton of long green flag runs where it has really given the tires to lose a ton of tread. So we'll see how things continue to progress. We're not even past the halfway point. We are very, very close to it currently on lap 99. I know the ticker might be a little bit different on the broadcast, but we are at lap number 99 completed. It's going to be Wyatt Howell still up front, Wesley Newell. That's been the same song and dance for most of this race, and it's Corey Bigley, Avery Farrell, Nick Mather. 9 cars on the lead lap right now. 9 still with a chance to win. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. Howell, Newell up through the gears into 1 and 2.
Well, I'm impressed with Avery Farrell, and his lap time's very consistent. Seems like even his fast time might be a little slower than most, but still very consistent on those lap times. So, let's see. I'm just gonna assume at the back here somewhere. 16 maybe?
I think it was Ashton Thomas.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. Yeah. Found the replay. Looked like he...
Oh, it was right from the start. Oh, wow.
Looks like he spun tires. 12 of Griffith spun his tires right in front of Thomas.
Well, and that's a hard hit for most people. 12 hits right. Kind of in the full acceleration there. Across the front.
So we have had some pit stops. James Wright took right side tires only. And then looks like Griffith also came in.
He probably
Did he
did a
take-
full repair, I'd imagine. It looks like the car. They all get one quick repair, right?
Yeah, Griffith got his. Yes, so Griffith looks like Griffith took his fast repair, and he took his set of tires. James Wright going for a different strategy. He only took his right side tires, so he still has 2 more tires in his back pocket if he so chooses to use them.
Interesting.
So we are officially right at the halfway point, 100 of 200 now.
Yeah, like you've been saying, we still got 9 drivers very much alive for the drive to win this thing. It wouldn't be out of the world that Ashton Thomas could get back on the lead lap with the lead lap wave rounds here.
Green
Only 3
flag.
laps down, and it showed some decent speed, but yeah, like you said, back green, Wyatt Howell, Wesley Newell just continuing to try to fight for this first place spot. Newell keeping it right on that right rear of Howell as they head into 1 and 2. Here comes Avery Farrell trying to get into the top 2 as we see a car around through 3 and 4. Yellow flag is out again.
Well, as I usually queue up the replays in my other broadcasts, the butt kicker replay cam is getting its butt kicked here tonight as we have been rolling through the replay footage. Looks like the 19 of Aiden Millette going into turn 3 here. You have the 82. That's Joe Wright. Oh, Joe Wright gives him a bit of a bump and gets Millette out of sorts there. So that one was on the 82, I believe, as Millette goes around and puts us under caution. I've lost track on how many cautions, but right past halfway here.
Yeah, cautions have been breeding cautions for sure, and it's just continued. Have not had very much long green flag runs, and that's just continuing to benefit Wyatt Howell and Wesley Newell. We've got Nick Mather on pit road right now. We'll see what he does. Will he take his set? Nope, looks like tops off on fuel some more. So we are definitely going to run more than the 200 scheduled laps. It's just not necessarily going to reflect that on the ticker because caution laps do not count. So drivers definitely have that in their mind right now.
Alrighty, doubled up for the restart. I do believe Ashton Thomas got another wave round, so he'll only be 2 laps down upon this restart here. Top 5, Howell, Newell, Bigley, Farrell, Wright, James Wright, that is, in 5th. You got Aiden Millette, Nick Mather, William Griffith, and Joe Wright
Green flag.
of the lead lap cars. Farrell's right there.
Wyatt Howell. He just keeps falling under attack from Wesley Newell. Newell has the opportunity. Oh, and we got another
Yellow
car
flag is
around
out.
through 1 and 2. Bigley, goodness gracious.
That's going to start getting to the point where I think you almost just need to come down and get those fresh tires. I know they want to hold off as long as they can, try to save them for a short burst at the end of the race, but it's proven that these tires are getting a little bit more slick for these drivers as it's constantly bringing out the caution here. And I'm
Like Wright and Bigley.
thinking Bigley kind of just loses it on his own. He's on turns 3 and 4 here. Yeah, no contact from James. Bigley kind of
I mean, the marbles have got to be building up on the high side.
and he keeps it off the wall, keeps it off the other cars here as they come right into the picture. No harm, no foul. But he loses all that track position.
And this is funny enough. We've got Ashton Thomas now only 1 lap down after being 5 laps down. He has taken his set of tires. He's topped off on fuel. So this is... We've got... Everybody still has a chance. Literally nobody has knocked themselves out of contention yet.
And that's what's awesome about short track racing is, you know, they might get damaged, they might get beaten and banged up, but you're really not worried about aerodynamics. These cars, they can take a beating and still be fighting for a win. That's, you know, Martinsville and all those other short tracks, they get out, especially Bristol, and they'll look like they've been through a grinder, and they could still come out on top to win the race.
Yeah, those fast repairs, there's only one of them, so eventually we may start to see cars start to look like that if the fast repairs run out. Top 2, not a scratch on Wyatt Howell or Wesley Newell's car, or Avery's for the matter. I know maybe the back bumpers, I'm looking at the fronts right now, but back bumpers look good. A little stack up on the restart, but Wyatt Howell able to move forward and continue to try to take that lead from Wesley Newell. Wesley Newell has had a ton of opportunities to try to take that lead. He might just not want to take it yet and continue to save tires. It's got Avery Farrell underneath him for that second place spot now. We see the 34 is able to take it.
Wow.
James Wright got a good run on the bottom.
James took those 2 right side tires and evidently made some form of a difference in the car for him as he's actually picked up a spot moving into 3rd there.
Looks like we got 2 cars with a black flag right now, Aiden Millett and Ashton Thomas. And Millett, trouble off of 4.
So yeah, he's gonna have to serve. Must have been that weird restart where they got all bunched up. Something. It's not showing much intensity to pull down.
Like they got cleared. Ashton Thomas now 2 laps down. Field starting to get a little bit spread out for the most part. We might have now finally a long green flag run under our hands eventually, but
this is a notable sight right here as you're looking at Avery Farrell and James Wright. They're both +7 from their qualifying positions here today. So from 10th and 9th up to 3rd and 2nd. Very, very impressive to say that it's even at halfway or past halfway and they're +7 to the good.
yeah, they're definitely the opposite of deserving of the Hard Luck Award right now. They've had some very good luck in their favor, and obviously some good driving on their part as well. Definitely have a few thoughts in mind for a Hard Luck Award right now, because there's a lot of drivers that have lost spots. Aiden Millett -4, Corey Bigley -4, Joe Wright -3. Continue to keep an eye on that. Wyatt Howell definitely is nowhere near deserving of the Hard Luck Award. He's had it perfectly made in the shade. Started on the pole, has led all but maybe 1 or 2 laps so far when he had a bit of a tough restart. Able to quickly get it back. And so, I mean, field very spread out right now. Everybody's kind of tucked in line into their respective positions at the moment. And we'll see how long it lasts now. I think everybody is getting back into tire saving mode. We know we're past the halfway point, but there is still 86 laps left. A ton can happen, and the tires can get burnt up very easily in 86 laps.
Man, for Corey Bigley to be all the way back in 7th, he had basically top 3 speed for the most of tonight. Him and Aiden Millett both. Kind of a top 3 pace that they were setting. Potentially, even in Millett's case, front front row speed here tonight, but they're going through the ringer. They're going to have to come out on top with a little bit of adversity working against them. William Griffith, man, I mean, just in the sheer amount of cautions involved, you almost have to give him some kind of a award for the amount of run-ins with the caution flag and still able to bounce back and sit in the top 5 like that. He's running down Newell here as well, trying to catch up to him.
Another thing to watch out for, looks like Corey Bigley has caught the 19 of Aiden Millette for that 6th place spot. So Bigley trying to work his way up through the field. He was -4 from where he started this race, so trying to improve on that. He's able to make it by the 19 up into that 6th place spot now, although Millette tries to cross him over into 1 and 2. He's at his door now.
There's no love lost between these two. They've been at it all night long.
Adored each other a little bit through 3 and 4.
Right into it there. 28 has to let up, and he's going to go back on the attack. Oh! Yeah.
Oh, the 19 spins through the grass. Back on. Oh my God.
The yellow flag is out.
Yellow flag is out.
Oh, hopefully none of our leaders got any of that. It was right there in front of the leaders. Nope, it looks like we're... But man, what a wild ride for the 19, going through the grass, going through the bumps, and 30. Wow, the 84 of Wyatt Howell was right there. Yeah, the 28 used him up there and not able to right the course of the 19. Slides right back into the racetrack. And that's a close call. We almost need to go in. Check out the in-car cam on the 84 of this one. That might be a notable shot right here. See him sliding through the grass down there. And all of a sudden, right into the racing line. Wow.
My gosh.
That's the most of the, that's probably the hardest spot in the race for Wyatt Howell all night.
Yeah, no, he's had it pretty easy, and that made him probably sweat a little bit, even though he hasn't had much to sweat about throughout this race.
That could have been
Aiden Millette come in, take damage, and get his 4 tires.
That could have been a setup for the hard luck award of the night if he was involved in that somehow. Because
oh yeah,
man, imagine having to come back through the field after getting taken out. He's obviously got a quick repair in the pocket, and he's got 4 tires also in his pocket, but definitely would have to charge back through the field. You never know what could happen coming from the back of the field, especially after having such a dominant run at the front of the field here. Lights are out. We're getting ready to go back green. Farrell on the outside, James Wright, and Newell on the second row, and James loses it.
James Wright!
Ah, man.
Caution, yellow flag.
Goes caution again. Unfortunately, James brings out this caution here. Just a little bit, maybe a little bit in the shifting, maybe a little late in the throttle.
These things are quite the bear to shift. So I'm not sure what exactly happened there. We've had a few drivers just spin the tires. You gotta be careful. These things have a lot of power underneath them.
Very small window between the go zone and the pace truck pulling off. I mean, you're right there, and they're there's the restart zone, so it could be kind of deceiving. It's like, when do you go? And it's like hard to tell because you still see the pace truck, and kind of putting that all together in one foul swoop can be a little bit difficult.
It's like Abe Millett had another black flag to serve. Joe Wright on pit road. Let's see what he's got going on. It's like Joe Wright is now taking his set of tires. He's going to take both? Yes, he does. So Joe Wright takes all 4 of his tires.
Lucky dog, Nick Mather back on the lead lap, perhaps, or what's going on? Maybe not.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving and shaking with the caution laps not counting, trying to determine who's on the lead lap or not. But it's like lights on the pace car, back out. Let's try to finish this thing out. Wyatt Howell, watch out for Avery Farrell. He's now on that front row. Can smell the lead. Wesley Newell now behind the control car. Got William Griffith up there, Corey Bigley.
Green, green, green.
Here we go, green flag, back out. Howell Farrell up through the gears into turns 1 and 2. And Howell able to shut the door on Farrell. Wesley Newell tucks in line into 3rd. And it's Corey Bigley. Abe Millett has worked his way to 6th right now. We got William Griffith there in 4th. Right now, 1st through 6th. All in kind of a tight train right now. 1st through 6th, honestly. Abe Millett just ran the fastest lap time of the race.
Wow.
With a 15.72, so those new tires are paying off. He's able to make it by William Griffith now for that 4th place spot.
So right now what you'll be witnessing is, with Millett on fresh tires, these 3 cars ahead of him yet to take their fresh tires. So there's going to be a distinguishable difference on the lap times right here. 11 might be a sit and duck for the 19 of Millett. He goes blowing right by the 11, side by side in the middle of turn 3, but right in front of him on the exit of turn 4. He's got his sights set
now
on Farrell.
Yeah, I mean, it should be also no problem here if he tries to get by Farrell, as Avery hasn't taken new tires yet, but he might now. Yellow flag is out. Everybody saw the difference between new tires and old, so maybe this might be when we see Wyatt Howell, Avery Farrell come in.
I'm going to do just a quickie replay here at full speed and see what happens here. We know that Joe Wright took 4 tires, so he's right here fighting alongside the 16, and that, unfortunately, is what brought out the caution, getting into the 16 of Mather.
Pit stops are underway. The whole field is pretty much on pit road now. Wyatt Howell, Corey Bigley, Wesley Newell, Avery Farrell.
Yep, this is the tire stop right here. I'm not seeing, yep, 4, it looks like 4 from Farrell, and Newell, Bigley, and even your leader, Howell. But unfortunately, Wyatt Howell is going to relinquish the lead here for what would be seemingly the first time here tonight. Millett's coming back down pit road, though. And that might give William Griffith the lead. Is it another black flag service there for the 19?
Looks like he just came in and topped off on fuel. Joe Wright doing the same thing, so fuel also a factor drivers take into account. But yes, this will now put William Griffith on the point for the first time tonight. So it's been a roller coaster race for Griffith. Nice to see him, up front getting ready to be the control car, try to lead some laps. But Wyatt Howell, despite coming into the pits didn't lose a ton of track position. He is now in that second place spot. Avery Farrell third, Wesley Newell fourth, and Corey Bigley rounds out your top 5. So no more tire advantage for Millette. Everybody in 4 of the 5 in the top 5 now on fresh tires, except for William Griffith. And we'll see. I guess Griffith maybe expecting another caution, keeping that set in his back pocket. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. There's Griffith taking off, leading the field into 1 and 2. See the 84 blinking a little bit, but he is to the left rear of Griffith. Doubles a little bit. Here comes Wesley Newell around the outside, making it around the 84. Wyatt Howell falls to third. Now right on that left rear of the 11 of Wesley Newell. William Griffith continues to keep the lead. How are we staying? Wow. What a crazy restart.
So many instances there where I thought someone was going to go around, but they all kept it pointing forward and rolling around the track here. Millette making a move there, bumping into Farrell for 4th place. And
Wyatt Howell now able to get by Wesley.
Newell settles into 3rd. Wow, Farrell gave a bump to the back bumper of Millette there. Millette starting to drive through the field. He started on this restart all the way back in 7th or 8th, I believe. And he's already climbed up to 4th. So Millette has it set on kill right here. Griffith holding.
I'm very impressed with Griffith, yeah.
Holding his own there, keeping the lead. It's going to be a tall order to fulfill, though. Howell's right there on his back bumper. It's side by side in the middle of the turn. Bump, slide.
What a pass.
Right to the lead. Oh, and he loses it.
Goes around.
The yellow flag
Holy
is out.
moly, Griffith through the ditch.
Oh, man. Griffith, I want to say it's almost on 2 hands now that you can count the amount of cautions he's been involved in here tonight. And this time from the lead of the race, which is a little bit harder hit to take. Well, I feel like Griffith is now going to have to, if he hasn't taken his set of tires yet, this would probably be the opportunity, but maybe not. Now, obviously, save, and wait till everyone else is on older tires to where your advantage would really sink in. But after Howell has dominated the first pretty much 3/4 of this race, the first half, the first basically 3/5 of the race. Now we've had 2 different leaders in the last 2 restarts here between William Griffith, and now it's going to be Wesley Newell.
Yeah, he's been waiting for this opportunity to finally be up front. He's got to try to hold off Aiden Millette, though. Corey Bigley, James Wright. Look at Joe Wright. He's worked his way into the top 5 now, so just been a carousel all throughout this race.
This right here looks like a recipe for disaster, having Bigley and Millette start this close to each other. There's still 60 laps. It'll be about 65 laps to go. So I don't imagine there's going to be too much aggression. But it's getting to the point where, you know, there might not be much holding back. Millette's going to start on the outside here of Newell. And Bigley's going to start on the inside. Would not at all surprise me if we go 3 wide for the lead here somehow, some way.
Green.
To find out right here, pace truck is in, green flag is back out. We won't be. There's Millette sending it down into turns 1 and 2. He's able to get the nose over Newell by the time they reach the backstretch.
Newell giving him a bit of a bump there. They're getting rowdy for the lead. Newell gets him sideways just a little bit, not too sideways, a little loose in the rear. Levin not letting him get away here. Bigley's going to see that opening, and he'll find a way to take a move on the lead here as well, as Newell settles back into the lead. Millette to second, and Bigley still in third. Bigley making the move side by side. Great race in action right here. James coming into the picture as well. This could get very, very exciting for the top 3 spots here. Avery Farrell coming through.
Yeah, there was a whole gaggle of cars right now from second all the way to 8th. We see Millette's up the track. Here comes Corey Bigley trying to snag that second place spot. We've got Avery Farrell following right behind him. Here's Wyatt Howell also making his way back up to the field after spinning from the lead. There we go. Bigley able to make it by.
I'm still anticipating that 3-wide move. We haven't seen it yet, but there's going to be a 3-wide between someone here in the next couple laps. I just have a feeling.
Goes Wyatt Howell past the 19, knocking him to the 5th place spot now. And then James Wright right there to pounce as well, as though he goes way up the racetrack. There goes William Griffith through. Saw him lead some laps. Unfortunately, was collateral damage there, but still showing some speed. Now Avery Farrell trying to make it by Corey Bigley for that 2nd place spot. We saw him looking low there.
Wesley Newell out there not getting to quite the advantages that Howell was able to get to from the lead, but still sizably up front in front of Bigley. Not quite a full second as they're closing that gap on him a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm sure Wesley maybe too is still trying to manage things, wondering if we may finally see the long green flag run that we've been waiting for. So trying to make sure that he doesn't burn up his stuff still early. We're not even to 50 to go yet. There goes Farrell underneath Bigley as they head into 1 and 2. Able to get to that left rear. He's got Howell right behind him. Farrell staying right there, right on the door of Bigley. See if he can hang on the outside, but not looking good. We see Farrell able to make it by. We see Howell able to make it by. Falling now to 4th is Corey Bigley, losing 2 spots in one fell swoop. Now Wyatt Howell trying to make his way up to the lead. Back to the lead.
Battle just getting tighter for the top 3 as they're catching up to Newell. Here goes Howell for second, getting right there past Farrell.
Yeah, looks like he just wiggled there through 1 and 2, and it was easy enough for Wyatt Howell to take that 2nd place spot. Now trying to track down Wesley Newell and get back to the race lead. He almost was a hard luck candidate, but maybe not so much now, as he's about to get back up to the race lead. I'm sure Wesley Newell, though, is not going to make it easy for him. He will defend tooth and nail.
Well, now the race, 3 quarters in the book, 1 quarter left to go. 50, now 49 laps remaining, and here we have a battle for the lead brewing. Howell right there on the back bumper.
Yeah, it was very quick how much he was able to catch that 11 car of Wesley Newell. We see Newell still holding him off, though. Like I said, he's going to not make it easy.
Farrell's still sticking really close to the top 2 here. He could, if they make a mistake, pounce.
Yeah, he's honestly in the catbird seat right now. If either of these 2 make a mistake, then he'll be right there ready to go.
Especially if they get to being aggressive for the lead and they both get sideways here. Lap traffic starts to factor in.
Howell's got the nose over Newell as they head down the backstretch, but he's got to complete the pass. Newell's going to want to try to get down before Avery Farrell gets underneath him.
and they're
Keeping it up
racing
on-
hard here. Look at that. The 11 not giving an inch. He's going to try to keep it glued on the outside. And the 16 is used as a pick there. 84 of Howell kept him in the wrong lane, and the 11 paid the ultimate price there.
We go. Noel trying to get back by the 34. Rooted him up off the corner. Got the pass. Now back up to second. Not gonna. He's hoping to not let White Howell get too far ahead.
The yellow flag
see.
is out.
Oh, caution flag is out. There goes that green flag run.
Had a pretty good lengthy green flag run there. Let's see what brought out this caution here on lap 157. So this would have been for 6th and 7th, or 7th and 8th, between James and Aiden. Exit of turn 4, there was a little bit of bumping, a little bit of contact, and here comes James on the low side of the 19. Ooh, and it looks like a little bit of retaliation from James there, perhaps, giving him a clip back into turn 1 there. Might need to go back a little further. There might have been some extra contact previously to necessitate that contact there. That's what brought out the caution here on the most recent. Looks like pits, but I don't know if anyone...
Nobody has tires left. It's just all either damage or fuel.
Well, and James
For
had
penalty.
2 tires in the... Did he take those other 2?
Let me take a look. That's a good point. While we look at that, again, do want to give a big thank you to Premier Racing Setups. We'll go ahead and talk about them really quick.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Continuing to see who will win that Hard Luck Award. Still don't know who's even eligible. There's been so much craziness, but we're back green right now. Wyatt Howell, Avery Farrell into turns 1 and 2. The race for the win is on. $50 on the line and bragging rights. Corey Bigley in third, and look at this, Joe Wright in the top 5, although he gets passed there by Wesley Newell, knocking him down to that 5th place position. See a battle going on. Ashton Thomas, Aiden Millette, William Griffith. Full gag right there.
Whoa!
Oh!
Yellow flag.
Well, Millette has been the center of everyone's target here today, I feel like. I don't know what that was all about, but Ashton Thomas definitely made contact there with the 19. The 19 maybe initially makes contact with the 33. 33 gets loose there. I don't know if it was all on Millette, but as you can see on the exit of turn 2 and heading into turn 3 is where the next contact is made. 33 way up high, gets into the outside groove there right around the 12 of Griffith, and he just he sends it in there. You know, he doesn't really break it all. He tried to, man, that's a weird one. Kind of looked like he tried to avoid the 19, but not really. 19 gets spun out there, bringing out this latest caution here tonight. Well, Millette might be in the running right now for that Hard Luck Award. after having a car very capable of fighting for the win. If he doesn't win the race, that's, you know, it's all for the win or not at this point for Millette.
Right now, he's been sitting on pit road for a long time. I know Ashton Thomas just announced that he is done for the race. Same thing might go for Millette. So at that point, we will have 8 cars still on the lead lap, ready to duke it out. Still with a chance to win. 5 of them will get prize money. 3 of them will go home with nothing. So lights on the pace car are off. We're getting ready to go back green. It's Wyatt Howell on the bottom, Avery Farrell on the top. Behind them, Corey Bigley, Wesley Newell, and then Joe Wright will be rounding out your top 5. Here we go. Pace car is in. Green flag back in the air. Here we go. Wyatt Howell trying to close this race out. Wesley Newell sends it down underneath Avery Farrell for that second place spot. 34 trying to clear him into 3 and 4. Goes up the racetrack, but he hangs on to it. Oh, yellow.
And here we're going to have to re-rack him again, unfortunately. Caution on lap 160. Looks to involve 2 drivers in the back of the field here. So the 16 of Nick Mather and the 50 of James Wright on the initial start here. Aiden Millette was back out there, evidently. Oh, wow.
Oh.
So Millette did not retire. We thought that maybe he was going to retire here, but turned into more of a pinball match there, collecting the 16. Coming up the racetrack, James, with not much anywhere else to go, runs into the back of the 19. Just another wild restart of unusual circumstances there.
Not a whole lot of drivers with black flags right now.
Yeah, Nick Mather, it looks like he's going to go a lap down here, perhaps. James is going to be able to stay out there a little bit. Worse for the wear on the number 50 machine. Already had used that quick repair earlier in the race, and he's just got what he's got now to run to the finish. Millette's going to go a lap down here, if I'm not mistaken, so he...
Well, caution laps don't count.
Oh, you're right, you're right.
But I don't know if he will exit. Yep, he's out. Just trying to
think
get as much damage fixed as possible.
Mather must have pulled off track because it's not showing his car on track right now. So
Yes, Mather is done for the race.
So now we have 2 retirements here tonight. 8 cars left running.
Here we go.
Green flag,
Pace
green
truck is
flag.
in. Green flag is back out. So many restarts that Wyatt Howell has had to deal with. Hanging on to the lead thus far. There goes Avery Farrell trying to get it done around the outside. There goes the 34. Oh, he taps the wall.
That is a bold move, sticking it in the high side here and trying to keep it. Trying to make the move on the 84, but the 84's got the advantage on that inside. He's going to hold him off here, at least for now.
Yeah, so far so good. Everybody tucking into line. Wesley Newell 3rd, Corey Bigley 4th. Keep your eye out for William Griffith in 5th place right now. We'll see what Wyatt Howell can do to try to hang on to this race lead. Time is running out for Farrell, for Newell, for Bigley. If they want a shot at this win, they've got to get a move on. They're all on equal tires, so it's just whoever can save them the best over the course of this race, or since they've taken them on lap 129. Still anybody's game. You got Joe Wright as well there in 6th place, a little bit further back, but could find himself an opportunity to pounce.
Well, it looks like we might be down to 6 cars left. Looks like James is off, along with Nick Mather and perhaps even Aiden Millette.
Yeah, he's done as well. So we're just down to 6 cars fighting for 5 payout spots and 6 cars fighting for the win. Here's William Griffith looking to try to get by Corey Bigley for that 4th place spot. These two very familiar with each other, running in ITZR, running in the Thunderstruck Super Series. So they know how that is the other interesting thing about, I guess you could kind of call this an invitational. Because you've got different drivers from different backgrounds trying to see if they can work with each other, and so far we've seen a lot that do not know how to play nice.
Yeah, there's either camaraderie or there's not for the most part, and it seems like we've had there's been some aggression, definitely some aggression here tonight, and I think the cooler heads are prevailing to some extent here, as what we've got
absolutely
left. These are the drivers that have been keeping it cool, trying to keep it cool for the most part, and working their way into a great finish here tonight.
Yeah, it always seems to work out that way, where patience always prevails. I mean, in order to finish first you have to finish. And these drivers that you're seeing right now in the top 5 and even in 6th and Joe Wright, they certainly understand that. They did their best to stay out of trouble. They may have been collateral damage in something or gotten turned by somebody, but at the end of the day, they are still surviving, they're still thriving, and hoping to finish things out. But as Wyatt Howell crosses the start-finish line, it's going to be 25 laps to go. Now, I'm going to be honest, if you've been saving tires, it's time to stop. It's go time. If you need to work your way through the front, now is going to be the time, because those 25 laps are going to go by very quickly.
And we may very well have the longest green flag run of the night, as most of our caution-heavy drivers are kind of knocked out at the moment. I mean, William Griffith has been involved in, it feels like, more than half of the cautions here tonight, but not most of them were partly even his fault. It seemed like he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I feel like these last 24 laps are going to go green to the finish.
Yeah, we've definitely gotten rid, like you said, the caution-heavy drivers. I feel like you said, cooler heads have prevailed. You know, looking, what a race it's been. I do want to point out what a race it's been for Avery Farrell. He's had a lot of stuff thrown his way. Started this race second to last, and he has worked his way up now to second. He's got a shot at the race win. Even if he doesn't, you know, it's still been a very impressive run for the 34. A lot to be proud of. It's definitely not been easy, and same thing goes for even, you know, Wesley Newell, Corey Bigley. I mean, I really don't think that there is any driver in the field right now that hasn't faced some kind of adversity or gotten involved in something throughout this one. Even Wyatt Howell, who has been very dominant, spun from the race lead and had to work his way back up through the field.
Maybe go down in history of the event as a spin and win, because that's been a very relevant scenario throughout motorsports, that drivers have found a way to win a race even after getting spun out somewhere earlier during the race. And you know, the pass in the grass with Dale Earnhardt Sr., and I know that Davey Allison, that was one wild night, the All-Star event, where he ended up going to victory lane on the wrecker. So wild things do happen sometimes, and those are the storybook kind of finishes that we always look for. And tonight, no different for Wyatt Howell. All he's got to do is bring it home now with 16 to go.
It's not over yet, though. Avery Farrell keeping his sights on him, not letting him get too far away. You never know. You may see that 34, although he goes way up the racetrack, killing his momentum. He is starting to slip and slide around. I mean, Wyatt Howell has just done such a great job managing his tires. Did a great, even after spinning. But yeah, like you said, I know when I think of spin and win, the first driver that comes to my mind is Kyle Larson, where you'll see Kyle Larson have a terrible, horrendous first half of the race, and then he'll come back up to the field and end up getting the race win. And that's because there are some drivers where you'll see them learn the limits of the car, learn the limits of the track, figure out exactly what they need to do to be controlled enough while still, being fast. And that's exactly what it seems like Wyatt Howell has done.
Most definitely, yeah. It definitely gives the driver a different feel. Learning their car and then still being able to push those limits and not push it over the limits going forward. Yeah, laps clipping away very quickly here. It looks like a little bit of lap traffic on the horizon. Don't know if that's going to be too much trouble here for Howell. That seems to be the only time when he loses some of his momentum is when he gets up there with the lap traffic. So Joe Wright, with 10 laps now, 11 laps to go, Wyatt Howell has nearly a 2-second advantage over Farrell. But that's starting to kind of teeter-totter just a little bit, as you can see, down to 1.8.
Another thing I'm watching right now is Corey Bigley is quickly reeling in Wesley Newell right now for that third place spot. Last time by, they ran identical lap times, and that gap was starting to decrease. So I don't know if Bigley has just done a better job at saving tires compared to Newell, but looks like it's starting to pay off. Last time by, he was now a 10th faster than Newell. So got to keep putting that together, and he might catch him by the end of this race. 9 laps to go, now 8.
Howell made quick work there of Joe Wright, putting him a lap down, leaving us with 5 cars on the lead lap here.
Yeah, it's still, and it is funny because, the 5 is the payout number. The top 5 will be getting money for the race lead. So I'm very excited, to see that, the top 5 finishers, the drivers with the coolest heads, the drivers that, preserve their car the best, they will end up getting the payout. But it's not over yet. We may see a shift in payout as our closest battle is brewing. Corey Bigley trying to get to Wesley Newell. That third place spot is very important because it's the last spot that either makes money or breaks even from the $20 entry fee. Third place will get $20. Whoa, big slide for Corey Bigley on entry 1. Corner entry has been a big trouble spot for a lot of drivers.
He's not giving up, though. He's hanging it in there, trying to pull back in the 11. All in the meanwhile, Howell has a 2.2-second lead over Farrell. Farrell has a 1.8-second advantage over Newell. And here we have Bigley, the closest battle on the racetrack here in the closing laps. It's going to be hard to keep
Time is
an
running
eye on
out.
both of these fight. Well, obviously not a fight at the front, but we want to keep an eye on the fight for position here, right on down to the wire.
Wesley doing a great job playing defense, not giving Corey the mistake that he wants.
Howell's going to go ahead and see the white flag waving. 1 lap to go. We're going to bounce back to 4th, 3rd, and 4th. The battle's still brewing. 1 more lap in the books to go. Is Bigley going to have something for the 11, or will he hold him off? As Howell's going to collect
Wyatt Howell.
checkered.
What a
Man.
race for him. Got the pole, dominant even after spinning. Able to work his way back through the front. Avery Farrell goes from 9th to 2nd, gets the win. We see Wesley Newell ends up finishing in that 3rd place spot. 4th, Corey Bigley, rounding out your top 5. It's going to be William Griffith. Joe Wright 6th, Aiden Millett 7th, Nick Mather 8th, James Wright 9th, Ashton Thomas 10th. But we see now Ashton Thomas burning it down as fireworks launch in the background.
here's two different winners. Wyatt Howell gets the job done. Kind of a late race entrance here. Didn't have a whole lot on the record books myself, but Atlee, he's a go-kart, said he was a go-kart racer. Was it in the Virginia area or?
Yeah, he is in the Virginia area. Runs at Trackhouse, runs at Langley.
And he got the job done here tonight.
So definitely got the IRL experience.
Tremendous fashion. He dominated it here tonight.
So we may have some driver interviews. I've let our top 3 know that they're welcome to hop into the top 3, and we'll go ahead and chat with them. We got Avery waiting there. We'll see if maybe third place finisher Wesley Newell will hop in there. Got Wyatt there in the waiting room. Go ahead and just drag Wesley. Wesley, this is Atlee and Jacob in the broadcast booth. You got a copy? Looks like we do not have him. We'll try our second place finisher, Avery Farrell. Avery, this is Atlee and Jacob in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, what a roller coaster of a race for you tonight. I know you started this race very close to the rear in that 9th place spot. Didn't quite have the qualifying attempt that you wanted, but quickly made your way up through the field, got involved in some stuff up front, took tires, and then were quickly able to work your way back up to the front, and were able to stay right up there with Wyatt all the way until the very end, held off Wesley. So, walk us through that one. What were you able to do to overcome that adversity, and just what was it like here, ARCA Cars at Langley?
Yeah, man. It's I don't really know what to say, honestly. This is kind of a last minute thing that came together. It was rough. Came into it, didn't start the night off very good, but I don't know what I did. Got up front pretty quick. Me, Y, and Wesley, we were all on the same program here, so happy for that. It's really, for us to see us go 1 through 3, it makes me feel good because I'm the one that built the setup, but it's just kind of, I'm happy with it. I'm happy Wyatt won, obviously. I'm really excited for him, but other than that, I had a fun race. It was a little rough, but we ended up making it through.
Like you were saying,
Now, I know one of the... Oh, go ahead, Jacob.
I didn't realize that you all were working together kind of on a team effort here tonight. Was that the case?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, you guys definitely had a great setup here tonight. Seemed to be above and beyond what the rest of the field. There was some competition, though, stiff competition, and you guys rise to it. I definitely dig the Butterbean tribute scheme there. That's a really neat scheme.
Yeah, thank you.
Great podium finish here tonight. I don't know what else to say. I'll hand it back over to Atlee. He had something he was going to ask.
Yeah, well, before I let you go, is there any sponsors or shout-outs?
Not really. Like I said, this is a last-minute thing that came together, so obviously didn't really have a Raptor on. But, I don't even know who to thank, honestly. I can thank my mom for getting me in the race.
There you go. Hey, always got to thank the moms out there. Help make it possible, but Avery definitely wheeling it out there, bringing it home. P2, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
It's like Wesley Newell now got his mic unmuted. We'll go ahead and bring him in. Wesley, this is Atlee and Jacob in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, I know I said the same thing to Avery, and I know the same thing applied for you. It was quite the roller coaster race throughout this one, but you did a great job. I know quickly got up to that second place spot right beside Wyatt and kept it right up there throughout this one. I know definitely some aggressive racing up front, but kept it up there. Ended up losing that spot as Wyatt worked his way up through the field. Had tight battles with Avery. I know Corey was reeling you in, and you were able to be defensive and hanging on to that podium spot. So, just, a lot, you had going on, but a lot, to look back on and you were able to accomplish. So, just walk us through that one.
Yeah, first half I was saving really well, and just keeping pace with White. And then every restart we had, I just let him go. Thought he was gonna waste his tires and stuff like that, and he never did. So when lap I think 125 came around, we came in the pit, and when I came to pit, took my tires, and I forgot to put fuel in my car. So when I came off the pit road, and come to find out, I had put no fuel in. So then I had to come back to the next caution and put fuel in. That's why I jumped down to fifth, and I just stayed there and rode and let everyone make mistakes, and yeah, and then have tight battles with Avery, stuff like that. Yeah, it was a really good race though.
Did all y'all have the same setup, or was there some slight variation for each of you on the top three there?
Me and Avery ran test sessions together, well, hosted sessions together, and we tweaked some stuff. I just changed stuff before the race tonight, so it was a little bit different, but it wasn't much. I just didn't save on my last set very well. Like Avery and Wyatt did better than me.
Still saved enough to able to bring home a podium tonight. Now, before we let you go, Wesley, is there any sponsors or shout-outs?
No, not really. I don't know what to say. My first ever time in a lead race, I finished third, pretty good time. But just my mom and dad for watching online and stuff like that.
Awesome. Well, again, congrats on the podium, Wesley. Have a good rest of your night.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And now let's go ahead and pull in your winner. Led majority of this race. Fast race car, got the pole. Let's talk to Wyatt Howell. Wyatt, this is Atlee and Jacob in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Awesome. Well, what a dominant performance that we saw with you there. Starting, qualifying off, able to grab the pole, and then just did a great job managing that lead. Maybe had a tough restart, spun the tires, lost the lead for a quick bit, and then were able to get it back. And after, we saw you retake those tires, get back up front, or before that, saw you spun out a little bit, but able to work your way back up through the field and get back up front, manage the tires well enough to get the win. So kind of a spin and win for you, but nonetheless, that wasn't really the defining moment. The defining moment of this race for you was definitely your dominance. So just walk us through it. I mean, how were you so dominant? I mean, what was the key to, getting this win?
Yeah, I mean, that Avery for our racing FSS machine was flying all day. I mean, I thought we were coming in here not going to be the best. I mean, I did a couple practice laps. I wasn't the fastest, but we were able to just keep it patient, keep it calm, and able to hold off everyone else.
Yeah, for you, definitely being up front all day was a huge savior because you were able to stay out of the trouble that was constantly happening back there. How did you feel when you had to go to the back of the field? Was it definitely kind of a shakeup for you, or kind of just get back in the mode and fight for the lead again?
Yeah, definitely. It was kind of different just being behind someone for a little bit. I was just trying to follow Avery through, try to get back up to the front, and when I saw him make that mistake, I just went right under him and tried to get to Wesley, try to help him get through, and just went by.
Yeah, there you go. You're always waiting for those mistakes, trying to be ready to pounce when they come about. But before we let you go, Wyatt, is there any sponsors or shout-outs for your win?
Avery for our racing and FSS, they helped me a lot through all my iRacing career, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, congratulations on the win, and we appreciate you joining us, and maybe we'll see you try to defend the title next year.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Well, again, there you go. Wyatt Howell, your race winner. Got to talk to your top three. Very well deserved. And, I mean, honestly, I think it's probably time now to try to come up with our Hard Luck Award winners. So, obviously, $50 will be going to Wyatt Howell. $25 will be going to Avery Farrell. $20 will be going to Wesley Newell. Then we have $10 going to Corey Bigley. And then we've got $5 going to William Griffith. So just kind of thinking on it here, I mean, I honestly would say that our Hard Luck Award, I mean, man, it's tough because we saw so many drivers show great speed all throughout this race. I mean,
And for me, I'm just weighing my odds with the
Yeah.
aggressiveness and the ability to race back and forth. I mean, you kind of have to look at a couple people there, and I'm ruling out just totally. I'm not trying to be biased. Ashton Thomas, unfortunately, just wasn't up in the top of the field, so I would rule out 10th place. I think you're looking at the meat of the sandwich between Millette, Wright, and possibly even Mather. Maybe Joe Wright, but he still had a decent return up to 6th there. 6th ain't a bad day for any means, so.
yeah, no, that is a tough decision. I think I'm going to have to go with James Wright because he for the most part during that first half of the race, he kept it clean. He didn't get involved in any trouble, and then just, aggression started to pick up and just ended up getting knocked out of that one.
Yeah, no, and he was up there fighting. He was on the top 3 at one point, so I could definitely get behind with James Wright on the hard luck award, because he definitely didn't have a result worthy of how he raced here today. He was racing a lot cleaner, had a very, very stout run that just got taken away from him, unfortunately, here tonight.
So there you go. We got top 5 finishers, and our hard luck award will be going to James Wright. But again, top 10, thank you to everybody that participated in this one. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. Again, all of this, as exciting as the racing was, ultimate goal was, of course, to raise money for charity for Breakthrough T1D. So again, if you feel so inclined, please go research them. They are the leading global type 1 diabetes research and advocacy organization. Breakthrough T1D, they help try to make life better for those with type 1 diabetes. They drive towards cures. So doing so many awesome things. Again, I was called to this charity by a friend and classmate who has dealt with T1D throughout her childhood. So again, hope this race can do its part to help individuals like her in their battle against T1D. And if you do feel so inclined, there are a few payment options in the description of this video where you can send donations, and all of it will go to Breakthrough T1D. Also want to give a big thank you to Premier Racing Setups for giving us our Premier Racing Setups Hard Luck Award. Go check them out on their website and their Facebook page, as they offer setups for those of you who are looking to maybe elevate your game for iRacing official races. But I do want to thank everyone who tuned in to watch tonight, maybe going to watch your favorite driver. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Intensity Broadcasting on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, as that would be greatly appreciated. We're always dropping polls and interacting with our viewers on there. Our next scheduled broadcast will be next Wednesday with the SCSRA Cup Series season finale at Homestead, Miami. So go see those guys. Take them on, and Jacob will be on the call.
I'm excited for that one. I've been following them all year. It's definitely a very exciting series to get into. So if you're into some good hard cup racing with a lot of team presence,
Yeah.
where they're racing as teammates and teams are banding together to fight for this title. We're kind of down to about the last 3 or 4 teams kind of in the mix, but yeah, it's definitely been a fun season. Should definitely tune in and catch the action next Wednesday for their championship finale, with the Final 4 championship on the line.
So go check out that and more. Turn on the notification bell so you do not miss when we go live. But again, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I'm Matt Lee at Manleast on behalf of the entire Tennessee Broadcasting team, joined tonight, of course, by Jacob Shangle. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon. Over and out.